Today we're going to be taking a detailed look at the Republic's all-terrain recon transport, aka the AT-RT. We'll be pulling from both Legends and canon to see how these versatile walkers were used to great effect by the Clone Army, continued to see deployment into the Imperial era and even beyond. The All-Terrain Reconnaissance Transport, Republic Scout Walker, or All-Terrain Recon Transport, known simply as the AT-RT, was the bipedal walker striding off the assembly line at Kuat Drive Yards, the main source of all the Republic's ground vehicles. Part of their lauded all-terrain line, the AT-RT is a single-man vehicle that cost anywhere between 8,000 and 20,000 credits, and stood a mere 3.4 meters in height. At only 1.5 Wookiees tall, it was one of the smallest walkers to ever stomp off a Kuat. But as a wise Muppet once said,
"Size matters not."
Because although it's not as imposing as the AT-TE or even the AT-AP, what it lacks in intimidation, it more than makes up for in speed and maneuverability. Able to reach top speeds of 75 kilometers per hour, or roughly 46 miles per hour, this thing can not just walk like its bigger brothers, but full-on sprint into combat, leaping over explosions, tough terrain, and even evading blaster bolts being fired from across the battlefront. Often deployed in packs, it's rare to see less than 4 per squad, and for major engagements, dozens could be bounding across the war-torn front to attack the enemy, like what we see on Umbara. This comparably small frame comes with more deployment options as well, with a single rider able to be dropped by an LAAT gunship without requiring a landing, and you can even march a pair of walkers across the battlefront in safety by packing them into the AT-TE until you felt safe enough to use these swift little recon walkers, unfolding similar to the B-1 out of an MTT, and jumping into combat like what we see on Ryloth. It's not all positives, however, with no shielding. You just get the metal armor plating protecting the pilot's lower half, the thin legs, a single but heavy repeating blaster cannon, and a very exposed driver, all meant the AT-RT couldn't be used by any shiny fresh off a Camino. So enter the Advanced Recon Force Trooper.
Did the kidnappers see you?
No, sir. We're the best scouts in the regiment.
Better known as the ARF Trooper, these clones were trained to make the best use out of these machines, minimizing its notable flaws by making use of numbers and speed, and almost always with deadly results. Let's take a look at the tactics used during the liberation of Ryloth, and what made the boys in Lightning Squad so effective. Descending from an AT-TE by order of Jedi General Mace Windu, at least 5 scout walkers came barreling to the rescue after the droid army pinned down the clones' heavy walkers on this narrow path. Led by Windu and Commander Pons, the scout walkers used their incredible agility to close the gap between themselves and the enemy's several AATs in a remarkably quick time, dodging bolts and leaping clear over explosions. All the training the ARFs received on those augmented reality battlefronts in the bowels of Camino really paid off when a trooper was able to throw a thermal detonator right below the main barrel of the Separatist tank. After thinning the herd, the rest of the squads surrounding the remaining tanks were incredibly precise in their aim, targeting the tank's weakness and blasting them to scrap. We also see how accurate the main gun of the walker is, with Mace able to decapitate the droid commander. Although designed to take on infantry, the main gun of the AT-RT was an extreme threat to larger vehicles when multiple walkers could focus their fire. We see this strategy used again on Umbara to a similar effect, with dozens of speedy walkers being dropped into the battlefront amidst a rain of heavy artillery fire. Weaving through the bright green bolts on this darkened hellscape of a planet, the ARFs of Anakin's 501st found success getting to the Umbaran machines, once again overwhelming them with a barrage of cannon fire. These light walkers were also perfect for urban missions, as seen during the Battle of Kyros, with the 501st galloping into battle atop their walkers, blasting droids through the more settled villages once inhabited by the Togruta. Backing up the even faster BARC speeder bikes, the recon walkers made short work of the droids along the way. The walkers were then used by Anakin and Ahsoka to quickly survey the surrounding area for bombs planted by slaver Darth Stanar, and it's in this search that we get a good look at the sensor system on the main viewing screen of the walker's console. This is a scout vehicle, first and foremost after all, so a state-of-the-art sensor system was a must. Thanks to the sprinting capability of these walkers, Anakin and Ahsoka were able to stop any more damage from being done by the Zygerian scum. Racing back to assist Obi-Wan, we get a great example of all the power in those legs. Anakin and his Padawan launched themselves into the air atop their walkers to get close to the escaping ship. This burst gave them enough distance to be able to summon the Force and finish off this maneuver and land on Dinar's ship, leading to some aggressive negotiations.
Where are they?
It should be noted how some squads customized their rides similar to their armor, with the 501st painting their mounts blue, bearing the name of their legion, and with Razor and Stack of Lightning Squadron painting theirs with Arabic letters B, E, and A. Despite all my digging, I couldn't find any specific meaning. We'll just have to email Filoni to get to the bottom of this. As the war raged on into its final months, we see the ARF Trooper replaced by the less creatively named AT-RT Driver.